Hi and welcome to my channel. My name is Alessandro and this is the first in a series of videos where I will show the evolution and composition of my investment portfolio, which recently reached a very important milestone for me. In fact, it has surpassed the €500,000 and also $500,000. I plan to show my entire portfolio transparently. It includes cash, stocks, bonds, crypto, gold, real estate and peer-to-peer lending. But before diving into the details of all my investments, I'd like to share a few important disclaimers. Since you probably don't know me yet, this will give you context to better understand what I do and what are my financial goals and what is my financial situation. First of all, as you might guess from my accent, I'm not a native English speaker, I'm Italian and currently I live in Poland, in the city of Warsaw. Here in Poland the local currency is the zloty, but I invest my money in different currencies, including euros, zloty and dollars. For simplicity, I keep track of all my personal finances in euros, but each month I calculate my total net worth also in the other currencies, so zloty and dollars as well. For example, my net worth this month is equal to 515,000 euros, which is equivalent to $536,000 or 2.2 million zloty. Many of the things I do with my investments, including the assets I hold and the platforms I use, will likely be more familiar for an European investor more than an American one. However, in these videos I will try to present the information in a way that's useful and clear even for a non-European. So if you are an American, for example, don't close this video, you might like it as well. I am 35 years old and I'm an entrepreneur. Specifically, I run online businesses, but I will probably talk more about that in other videos and not in this one. In any case, my net worth only started growing significantly in the last 5 years, precisely since I started doing business online. And I'd like to emphasize that I started from zero. Even if I've always been a dedicated saver, 5 years ago my net worth didn't even reach 20,000 euros, simply because I wasn't generating much income. And I've been tracking my net worth at the end of every month using an Excel spreadsheet since 2008, when I was just 18 years old. Even if I had literally nothing at the time. My goal is to achieve financial freedom, and this year I have decided to share my journey publicly through this YouTube channel. This serves two purposes. First of all, to make myself publicly accountable for what I am doing with my money. And second, maybe because I can inspire someone who is watching these videos. With that said, I think we are ready to begin. In this first video, I won't go into too much detail about the individual components of my portfolio. Instead, I will focus on presenting the asset allocation and the total values. All figures are up to date as of January 1st, 2025, so any change that occurred after that date are not included. My spreadsheet is like a snapshot of my net worth at a specific point in time. It doesn't update automatically. I manually update it at the end of each month. So let's start with uninvested cash, which amounts to 28,000 euros. Here in the spreadsheet everything is converted to euros, but in reality part of this liquidity is held in zloty as well. As you can see, my liquidity is spread across various platforms including ING, which is my bank account, Revolut, PayPal and PostePay, which is an Italian prepaid card linked to the National Postal Service. Now let's move to the second category, which is much more significant, bonds. In this category I also include invested cash, such as money market ETFs, which are low volatility financial instruments that generally return the official deposit rates set by the central banks, like the European Central Bank or the Federal Reserve for the dollar. I personally invest in a euro money market ETF and a dollar money market ETF, but also in various bond ETFs, and the main part of this segment of my portfolio is currently invested in Polish government bonds. Once again, the value is expressed in euros, even though the money invested in Polish government bonds is obviously in zloty. I calculate everything in euros just for simplicity. The third category is the stock market. Here I primarily invest in ETFs rather than individual stocks. I follow a passive investment philosophy, avoiding stock picking or market timing. I prefer to move with the market rather than try to beat it. As you can see, I hold several stock ETFs. Most are global stock ETFs, but I also have exposure to emerging markets, small cap value ETFs, and other ETFs. The total of this category is around 107,000 euros. The next category is peer-to-peer lending. These are European platforms that allow you to lend money to individuals and earn returns in exchange. It's a risky form of investment, so I limit it to a small part of my portfolio, but I've had a good experience with platforms like Mintos, so I don't plan to stop using them soon. Then we have gold. Aside from a small physical gold bar, the rest of my gold holdings are in exchange-traded commodities. The total here is just over 21,000 euros. Next is real estate, which currently includes only my apartment in Warsaw. It's a studio apartment in the city center where I currently live. The value I've estimated for it is 700,000 zloty, which is a little over 160,000 euros or $170,000. I also have some crypto, mainly Bitcoin, with smaller amounts in Ethereum, Solana, Binance Coin, and other altcoins. The total value of my cryptocurrency holdings as of January 1st was 17,214 euros. Finally, I have other accounts on a few platforms that hold a mix of equity and bond assets, with a total of 5,800 euros. Now let's move to the grand total. As mentioned before, my net worth is 515,743 euros. Compared to last month, it has increased by 15,700 euros, but primarily because at the end of the year I adjusted the valuation of my apartment. Without that adjustment, my net worth would have grown by only 1,000 or maximum 2,000 euros. Out of this total, if I remove from this total my flat and my uninvested cash, it remains 323,897 euros. Which is the value of my investment portfolio, let's say. Clearly, I don't include cash here in the investment portfolio, and I also don't include my apartment because I live inside it and it doesn't generate any income. Now, let's see how my FIRE journey is progressing. Starting with my invested capital, I've taken a reference point of 3.5% safe withdrawal rate, which corresponds to 945 euros per month. This means that, as of now, I could start withdrawing 945 euros monthly, with almost no risk of running out of my invested capital. I've estimated that my future expenses could amount to 2,000 euros per month. This is just a rough calculation because it's difficult to predict future expenses. But currently I spend around 1,300 euros per month, maximum 1,400. And I live alone and I don't have children, so my expenses could increase in the future, even if I constantly strive to minimize them. So to stay safe, I consider 2,000 euros as my potential future expenses per month. Based on this table, when my monthly safe withdrawal reaches 2,000 euros, I'll be virtually in FIRE and I could finally retire. Of course, this is a simplification that doesn't account for inflation, investment taxes, and much more. But even as a simplification, it's very useful for me to have a metric, a guideline that shows me how my FIRE progress is going. Currently, I'm at 47.23%, so I'm almost halfway there. If you want to see how these numbers evolve in the future and how my journey toward financial independence progresses, make sure to subscribe the channel. I promise I will provide regular monthly updates. Finally, let's have a look at my asset allocation. The main part consists of stocks, 21%, bonds, 32%, and real estate, 31%. But there are also smaller portions in cash, gold, peer-to-peer lending, and crypto, as we saw. Here's the pie showing my asset allocation as of January 1st, 2025. If you have any comments or tips on how to improve this monthly series about my investments, feel free to leave a comment below. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and I'll see you in the next one. See you soon!